You ready?
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Feedback. It's a show where we find creative people and get their insight on their specialty or their passion. We get to know them. We get to know their work. Maybe get a little example out of it. Today, I have an extremely creative person in the studio today. Musician, stand-up comedian, businessman, family man. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Caldwell, a.k.a. DC.
Man, glad to be here on Feedback. Hey, I'm super impressed. Came upstairs and just to see the studio come together, like you talked about it, we talked about it, and now to actually see it come to fruition is like, this is awesome,
Words
man.
in action, man. We got to do it. It's time because I feel like fires are being lit lately. Do you feel that too? I feel like you're separating some people and they're just going. And I'm, explaining like, hey, we're making a podcast. I've been like into a lot of the music that I've been, super passionate about for. And the people with the holding the flames are like, let's go.
Yeah, well, you definitely lit some fires. We were supposed to meet last week to do this.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my mom about it, I'm about to be on a podcast.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, what's it about? And I was like, well, it's about talented people not necessarily using their talents.
Exactly.
And she's like, oh, yeah, you mean like when you started your fishing company and, 2 years ago you were shooting videos, you were fishing all the time. And she said, you made 5 shirts and then you just quit. And I'm just like, mom's just hit me in the stomach.
She's all one hand man? No.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit because there's a lot of things I want to talk to you about some of the things that I know that you're good at and you practice and you're a creative man. There's this new venture that you brought up to me. So first I know that you're a drummer, right? I know that do you play other instruments than drums?
No, I just play percussion, played drums in my grandfather's Baptist church.
Oh, nice.
I was actually, the drummer behind my cousin. So if any chance that I can get on, if my cousin let me get on Sundays, I was there. But my mom was actually a drummer in church as well. So my mom played drums, cousin played drums. I got my first drum set when I was probably 3 years old.
Damn.
And shortly after, baby sister was born. So they actually got rid of the drum set because I couldn't play it. And so I think that as an adult, I realized that was the resentment I had for my baby sister because they got rid of my red drum set because she was born.
So it's in the blood.
Oh,
Did they
most
teach you
definitely.
to play the drums? Or is it something where you got to do it yourself?
It's something that I always anytime I was at church, I was attempting to get on the drum set, just something that I was all about. And it cracks me up now because my son, DC3, I have a picture of him on Easter. He ran up in the pulpit. He's going to the drum set, and he's like, Daddy, play drums. So he got his first drum set for Christmas right before his second birthday. And, I mean, he'll literally get me off the couch and say, Daddy, play drums.
It's time, yeah.
Yeah. And
So he's seen you at church play?
He's never seen me at church play.
You show him videos of you playing or something?
Never. Have you seen some videos?
Because I've seen a video of you playing.
Yeah, so he's seen those videos of me playing, and we'll watch those. That's something I can play for him to calm him down.
Yeah.
But also we go jam out at Guitar Center.
Yeah.
Where he'll get on a drum set and tell me, Daddy, you sit down.
Yeah.
And we'll play together with him watching me. And like now he gets on his drum set and just gets after it. And it just really makes me think like I need to be getting after it. If he's too,
he already knows.
Getting his chops on.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and encouraging you to do it.
Exactly. And it's like, well, it's a no-brainer to him. Like, Daddy, this is what we do.
Hell yeah.
Right. So super awesome, man.
How many kids do you have?
So I have DC3 is our youngest, and then I have 3 bonus. I say bonus kids. I don't like to say step.
Yeah.
But I got 2 bonus daughters, and then I have a bonus man because he was already 20 something when me and his mom got together.
Yeah.
But what's so cool is we all have our individual relationships. Like he goes fishing with me. Nice. He's a college basketball player. He'll be graduating here in May, and it's just super awesome that God blessed me with a family. So I always say, it's super cool. People are like, how'd you guys meet? I'm like, man, I came up on this family at Target because
See?
it was already together.
There's so much more similarities that you and I have than we know, dude. But there's so much stuff I want to talk about because I'm getting very excited about your new ventures. But I have to ask, okay, being a family man, how do you balance creative works? How do you balance art, like for you, and running a family?
Well, so as of late, a friend of mine actually has an aquarium store, and we became friends. We met a couple years ago. I literally was buying supplies for my fish tank. I used to work at an aquarium store. I've kept aquariums since I was a little kid. Kind of ties in with the fishing, right?
Yeah.
And my daughter needed to use the restroom. We go through a wrong door, and there's a music room. There's a drum set, a bunch of guitars on the wall. And so I tell the shop owner, like, hey, man, my bad, we went into the wrong room. But can we go in there?
Yeah.
And he said, well, can you do anything in there?
Oh.
And I said, I can. And he said, well, we're going to ring you up. And then after that, we're going to go in there. And then so me and Doug, his name's Doug. His name is DC as well. His initials are the same.
What's your first name?
My first name is Derrick.
Okay, I thought I knew that. Yeah, I was like, I've been calling you DC for like 6 years. So I was like,
believe me, most times when people say Derrick,
Caldwell?
I don't even look because
Yeah.
even in my company, people just call me DC.
Yeah.
So the other DC, he grabs a electric guitar, and we didn't decide anything. We just started playing, and it's been about 2 or 3 years that we have these jam sessions. Typically, when the aquarium store is closed, and we've made some awesome music together. Never actually saying, hey, let's try this, let's try that.
Yeah.
Just playing and,
Yeah, jamming.
Just
Feeling
jamming.
it. Yeah.
And man, like some of the recordings, I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
What exactly is happening?
How did he record in that room? Did he have a computer and was like
no.
plugging you in? And
No.
There was the drums mic?
My
Phone on.
my 9-year-old at the time, because we played one session, and then I said, man, nobody would believe this.
Yeah.
I'm at a random aquarium store and we have this jam session.
Get proof.
The other DC says, man, so then maybe we should record it.
Yeah.
So then we recorded, and the first recording, it actually sounded like we were battling with the guitar and the drum.
That's dope.
But also playing together.
Yeah.
And we went through it went from rock to like a smooth
Oh.
to jazz,
Yeah.
to alternative, and there was just
How
all
did you
by
learn
feel.
those other styles? Because I mean, if you're in like a church setting or something, I'm sure you're just holding the beat. But how do you learn jazz?
Yeah, well, after playing in church, I actually played in the school band.
Nice.
And so I moved from Stockton, California to San Diego, California when I was about 10 or 11. I believe.
How
I
old
was
are you now?
I'm 43.
Let's go.
And so
43 looks 30. Look at
Thank
this,
you,
dude.
thank you.
Goodness.
And so when I moved here, I told the band director, like, I play the drums, and I was a round kid,
Yeah.
had some extra groceries. So
I
said,
played lineman.
yeah, they're gonna say,
I was the same,
they're gonna
yeah.
like, you're gonna play baritone. So they made me play baritone. I remember playing hot cross bun.
Yeah.
Really not,
Dun.
really not my thing. 6th grade comes along.
It's not most people's thing.
No, for sure. But he's like, you got a lot of wind, so you're gonna play the baritone.
Yeah. Okay.
So then 6th grade, they still make me play the baritone. And I keep telling, I never forget this teacher's name. His name was Mr. Moore.
Mr. Moore.
Every day I'm telling Mr. Moore, I play the drums. He's like, yeah. Every kid plays the drums. Everybody wants to play the drums.
Yeah.
So
I remember that in band. We'd
Yeah.
all sit in the back.
Yep.
I ended up playing trumpet.
Right.
Because everyone was just sitting there.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, let me play something else. Yeah.
No, for sure. And so one day he stepped out of the room and they were practicing La Bamba. Mm-hmm. And that was a song that had a drum solo. Okay. And so I just hopped on the drums and played with the band. He came in and saw me on the drums. And he's like, why didn't you tell me you play the drums? I'm like, I've been trying to tell you that,
Mr.
forever, And so then from that point on, I didn't have to play the baritone anymore.
You earned your spot.
Yeah. And so then once I got to high school, I thought I was too cool to be in the marching band, but then I played in the drum line where we would do competition drums.
Dope.
And one of the seasons, our whole show was Star Wars.
Oh shit!
It was Star Wars themed, and that
There's a lot going
really,
on in those songs.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And so
John
between
Williams.
that and then just starting to jam out with some neighbors that we had that played alternative music, we would kind of do a round robin, and I just had to adapt. And so then just the natural music that you hear in church, it's derived from blues and jazz.
Yeah.
You know, and then playing alternative music, well, if you got these guys playing guitar and bass guitar, I just had to pick it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I learned by ear, and then that was accompanied with actually going to school, learning how to read and write music.
Oh, you did
And
that?
so, yeah, because in the
Where'd
drum
you
line,
study?
I went to Sarah High School, and you had to know how to read music to
play in drumline?
Because everything was, written
X's
out.
and lines, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that really enhanced my skills, but also playing hand drums.
Okay.
A friend of mine, her dad made
bongos, you mean?
the djembe. He introduced me to the djembe.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, and so playing the djembe, that was great for living in apartments.
Yeah.
But you can play so many different beats and tones on one drum that years of playing the djembe and then getting back on a drum set, like I was doing things that I never even attempted to do prior.
Damn.
Right? And so it's like sometimes when Doug and I play, he's such a good guitar player that it pushes me. And when I listen or watch the videos, I'm like, that's something that I've never done before.
Oh, sick.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we kind of compliment each other because
On
he's
the
like,
spot creativity.
he's like, man,
Dude, what
I like
did
to
you
play
do
with
right
you.
there?
Exactly. He's like, I like to play with you because you are able to do things that push me.
Yeah.
He's like, we're just making good music, you know?
Yeah, it's like a response. It's like a conversation. Like we're having a conversation right here, but musically.
Exactly.
So, well, I had a thought when you were talking about this. When you were the younger kid and you're like, dude, no, I'm a drum player. I'm not a baritone player. Do you think that confidence that you have you always had that? Because as long as I've known you, it's very confident, very, you know what I mean? Have you always had that? And like, did that help you in that setting? You know, or were you like confident of your own skill?
I've always been confident, mainly because I got a huge family. My great grandparents had 9 boys.
Yeah.
My grandfather was the first boy of 9. My mom was the first girl in the family. So
got it.
I was blessed to be at my great grandfather's house. So I got the influence of all of my great uncles, as well as all of my mom's brothers, because I was at the hub of the family, and I was with my great grandfather up until I was 10 years old. I was with him most times because my mom was at work. And so my great grandfather, Reverend Raymond Guyton Sr.,
Raymond.
he was a baker. He built custom smokers. He
engineered, he designed them himself?
Design them
Dope.
and sell them right. People would come knock on the door to buy his smokers, his barbecue sauce. Like right now.
Did he call it Reverend Raymond?
No, he didn't call it anything because people just knocked on the door and bought it
thing?
in mason jars. He did rib plates, peach cobbler, sweet potato pies, and these are all things that he had a restaurant at one point, but no one else could replicate what he was able to do. And so the restaurant closed, and people would still wanted his food. So there was like 4, maybe 5 freezers in the garage where he would, make food bulk, and people literally would come buy his smokers and his food right from the house. And so one of the things about my great grandfather is you always knew what he was going to do because of how he was dressed.
Oh.
So if he was working, if we're going to be working like doing construction type stuff, then he had on. Yeah, he had on overalls.
You're like, damn it, we got to work today.
Right.
Look at how he's dressed.
If we're working on a car, then he had on coveralls,
Coveralls,
And then if he was going to church, You knew that he was taking his white Cadillac,
Dressed to
and
impress.
he was dressed to the nines, had all the accessories you possibly could have to be a pastor at the church. And so he never, you didn't have to question what was going on, because he was going to be prepared for whatever that was to the utmost. You know,
And there was a lot of men around you at this time.
yep.
So there was a lot of competition or people to show your victories to, because there's a lot of like,
Oh yeah,
you know.
everyone's super competitive.
That's exciting.
However, my dad, Derrick Caldwell Sr., I don't think there was anybody more cocky than him.
there you go.
And so, because he was so cocky and such a fly guy, I remember being a kid and people would say, "Oh, that's little D," and then they're like, "Well, no, that's Derrick's son."
Yeah.
And like grown men would come by. It's like, "Man, you're gonna be a cold piece when you get older." And it's like, I'm like 6 or 7 years old, and
Don't know what that means. Yeah.
yeah, so it's
I'm
like
just doing me.
Yeah, so like the confidence was almost like given and was expected. You know,
Yeah.
my mom, she's always the life of the party, always, you know, got people laughing.
Yeah.
And we laugh at this now because everywhere we went, she would talk to everybody, and I'd be like, "Man, let's go. Why are you talking to everybody?" But now that's me.
That is totally
you know?
you, yeah.
And so
Your family's in the car like, come on, bro.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And so that was my mom. She's always the life of the party. And then just the competitiveness, I just always want to win.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you tell me I can't do something,
Yeah.
then I'm about to prove you wrong.
Motivation.
You know,
baby.
one way or another.
Yeah.
You know?
So your path, right? So creatively, like in terms of art, you were music first. You were drum. You're like, now I'm good at this. Now I'm proving that I'm good at this. And now you're out of high school. And where do you go from there?
So
You
actually,
started playing with people, or
no,
or did you
actually,
go
I
right into
didn't-
work?
I actually didn't play music for a long time after high
Me
school.
too.
Just didn't play music. Actually, my senior year, I didn't make the drum line. And the reason I didn't make the drum line is there was this guy, his name was Brandon Lee. And Brandon Lee was like literally like Debo from Friday.
All right.
And he literally rode
He punked his way in there.
No, he was just like the school bully, but
Right.
also like the kind of a class clown.
All right.
And teachers were afraid of him because this dude, like, he was jacked.
Yeah.
High school.
They didn't want to mess
and
with him.
Didn't want to mess with him.
Just giving his time.
But in my senior year, when we were trying out for the drum line, he had a bike and he drove around. He rode around me while I was doing my tryout
No.
and made me laugh. And
Oh no.
yeah, and so like I'm trying to
Band leader's like, what's going on here?
yeah, and so there was a guy. He was just gonna bring his friends on. He was he graduated the year before, so he literally wanted to put his friends on the bass line. But so I was bottom bass. The bottom bass is the heartbeat of the drum line.
Sure.
There was nobody on that drum line that had more rhythm than me, and like I could pick up the bottom bass and basically keep the band going. And so me and that guy didn't get along.
Yeah.
And me laughing during the tryout didn't help. But it just, you know,
So a small window of time ruined your continue on.
Yeah, and then
But-
also I didn't know that I could have got a scholarship for playing drums.
Yeah.
That's the
That's a lot
misstep.
of people don't know.
Yeah, I
you
didn't
know, they're
know
like,
that.
oh, my buddies don't play the shit, but I really like it. You know, like, oh, I'll just try to do a sport or something. Like,
Yeah.
You know, there's scholarships a lot for
Yeah,
that.
I had
Dude,
no
and
idea.
If you're like next level college drumline, that's
Oh no!
so
like
cool, dude.
now, I'm like that would have been sick to do.
That's not
experience.
cool when you're 17 though.
No,
it wasn't cool
and-
for me.
No, and I had
You know?
no idea, and it really wasn't cool because the outfits that they had at our school,
bro, the hats
they
and
were conquistadors. So they
Okay.
basically had these like mariachi band like outfits
Spanish.
with basically you're wearing bell bottom tights, this
Yeah.
little jacket, and a huge sombrero type hat. And I was just like, nah, I
I know
couldn't do
you're
this.
like I can hold a drum beat like better than the next man, but come on,
and
don't dress me up.
And
like
then a gold silk shirt with like these I don't know, coming out of the collar.
Yeah.
It's just like,
no, I know. I feel like that could be a wise move for the band groups to, to edge them out a little bit,
No, for sure.
So, because as long as I've known you, you've been a very creative person with everything that you've done. From the day that I met you, I was like, there's something about this guy. And so I don't know how much you want to talk about like your work career or anything, but I feel like that's a big thing because like for me at least, I had to provide for my family and I just went to work and I put like everything in me, how to like succeed in work, how to like feed the kids, how to, like do what we need to do to be successful, or whatever that was like instilled in me as like a young kid. Like I have to get to this certain point and then I have to maintain that point, And then something happened to me and I was like, oh yeah, there's this whole creative side of me that like really, really fulfills me and makes me a better dad and better, better boss, better, father, better husband, So I don't know how much you want to talk about that, but like, when did you get into like stand-up comedy? Like, when did that happen?
Well, the stand-up comedy, I mean, I've been always a jokester, class clown, always, getting always roasting my friends, my family members. And
good times.
I had a blended family growing up, and there was, 4 kids in the house.
Yeah.
So we were
got
roasting.
it and gave it. Yeah.
Yeah, we got cousins, like uncles roast you. Like if you can't get roasted, like it's just something that you knew whatever you were doing, you're gonna get roasted.
Yeah. You're doing something silly. This is you get caught.
Yeah, it's just whatever it is, like but you're gonna learn from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think I was probably 20. I say 24, 25, and I was just in Hollywood at my stepbrother and cousin's house. They lived in Hollywood, and they had a friend that was already a professional actor. Joey, I want to say his name was Joey. Don't quote me. He was in the movie The Longest Yard.
Okay.
And essentially, he's the big Italian guy. He does a lot of stand-up, and he talks about his cat all the time.
Not Joey Diaz.
Yeah.
Joey Diaz?
Yeah, the big heavyset guy.
Coco Diaz?
Yeah.
Like one of the
one of the greats.
Greats, dog.
Right.
Yeah.
So
he's hilarious.
I'm at my brother's house, running my mouth. He's there, and he says, "Man, you think you're so funny? I'll take you to the Comedy Store right now."
Oh shit.
I'm like, bet.
Yeah.
And so everyone's thinking that I'm not gonna actually get on stage.
Yeah, you're gonna go with this guy?
Yeah, but I go with him. At the time, I was a heavy drinker. We had already been drinking. I couldn't tell you what I said that night, but I remember getting off stage, and this guy came over to me and gave me his card. He said, "Man, you just need to figure out what your thing is, but you got something. If you're gonna be drunk, then let's run that.
Yeah. Be
but
the
figure
drunk
out,
funny guy.
Yeah, but be
whatever,
figure out what it is, and then stick with it and hit me up." I wasn't worried about it. Didn't ever follow up and never did it again.
You're like, that was fun. I killed it. I showed you.
Right.
I showed you Joey Diaz.
Yeah, just left it at that. And then I think I was in my 30s. There was a bar that I hung out at where there was a comedian that would do shows where everybody in the bus, we get in a bus and go over to the La Jolla Comedy Store.
Yeah.
So I probably did 2 or 3 shows with him. First one did all right. Second one did pretty well. And then the third one I bombed because they kept pushing back the time. Mm-hmm. And we just kept drinking Patron.
Yeah.
By the time I got on the stage, I was sloshed. By the time I got on stage, I remember
Were you forgetting your material?
Yeah.
Did you have material? Because I've seen you just go off the cuff, and I'm like,
no, I did have material, but I couldn't remember any of it, and didn't know really.
They knew that.
Oh,
the room knew that.
Yeah, it was bad. I wasn't getting any laughs. Plus, nobody was responding to me. So I wasn't getting any feedback.
It was part of your thing, yeah.
Yeah. So that was the other thing is I'm really good at working the crowd.
Yeah.
But if you're just looking at me,
it's
not.
Might put
work.
you in that weird little realm.
Yeah.
So now.
And so then cut to.
But how does that feel? Because a lot of people are scared of going up because they don't want to bomb. Like, how bad is it if you do bad? Like, does it?
Nobody even.
Well, as a confident person, you might not be that bad.
Nobody even remembers it. I didn't remember because I was too drunk, so it didn't even faze me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then, 2 years ago, right before my son was born, I just said to my fiance, "You know what? I think I want to try stand-up comedy again."
This was 2 years ago.
Yeah, about 2.5, maybe. Well, my son's a little bit over 2 now, so maybe 2.5, 3 years ago.
2022.
Yeah, 2022. And I said to her, I
wait, try bars opening up from COVID, and then you were going out. You're like, dude, I'm
no, not even. Literally, things were open.
Yeah.
It was probably things were probably been open maybe 4 or 5 months.
Okay.
But I just said to her, like, in a general conversation, like, I think I want to try stand up again.
Yeah.
She looked at me dead in the face and laughed out loud.
No.
And said, "You're not even funny."
Oh no.
So I'm off to the races.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, now that she tells me that, that's my new career.
Yeah,
I'm focused on,
for sure.
Shutting her up, right? So I actually signed up for a class at Mic Drop Comedy. It was like a 3-month class that is going to teach you how to put a show together. But the cool thing is you got to get on stage once a week to practice. And so during that course, I learned like the structure of a comedy set.
Okay.
And while I was doing that class, every week we'd have homework where the instructor would say, "Okay, next week, do something about this. Next week, do something about this."
It was specific to you?
To the whole class.
Oh, okay.
Like basically just a general assignment.
All right.
And so what I found myself doing is writing jokes based on what the homework was, right?
Okay.
And so I think it was the second to last class. There was a girl who, to me, she rocked it.
All right.
And they gave her some feedback to where it basically changed all of her. It just basically changed what she was delivering.
Sometimes that will do that.
Right? So then the next week, she didn't show up.
Oh, no.
She didn't come back.
It ruined her.
And she didn't do the actual showcase, which was part of the whole program, is at the end we do a showcase together. So all the jokes that I had been presenting, I realized when I saw that lady not come back, was like, who cares what they think?
Yeah. Yeah.
They wouldn't be my target audience anyway.
Yeah.
So the day that we did the showcase, I did all new material based on the crowd that I had invited. And the instructor was like, "Man, that's the best set you ever done."
Let's go.
But it was
Preparation. You knew who you were.
right. But I wasn't curtailing it to the comedians that were in the class.
Yeah.
Because that was the feedback that you got, was you needed those people to laugh.
Yeah,
but none of those people would be in the audience that I would be performing for.
That's a smart move.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so me making that little shift, all the other comedians are like, "Man, like, you killed it." Well, that was right before.
Oh, because they all felt it. They're like, "Dude, you got the biggest laughs for sure." Yeah.
Yeah, and then I wouldn't say I dropped the mic, mic drop comedy, but
Have you ever dropped a mic on stage?
no.
When it was that good?
No.
Is that disrespectful?
I just think it would be, mess with
Little
the equipment
extra.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like,
You gonna buy that mic?
Yeah, you gotta make sure. You gotta make sure you're that good. Like Chris Rock status to drop the mic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, pretty much, my son's born, and then it's like other comedians that I was in the class with, they're consistently doing shows. They invite me to do like open mics and things.
Yeah.
And so, not that my lady was like, "Oh, you don't have time to do that." I'm like, most of the places are
That's what
45
I wanted to
minutes
talk to you
away.
about, man. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people locally that want to do it and they want to go out. But you brought up something. I'm like, hey, what's going on in stand-up comedy? And you're like, I don't know if I want to stand in these lines away from my family for X amount of hours each day to go do 10 minutes or something.
Literally, if I
like,
wanted to go,
like, speak on that.
Yeah.
Like, how much
So-
time does it take if you have good material? Let's say you got
Yeah.
5 minutes or something. You know, like, and
well,
you want to go do
you gotta
it.
go if you're gonna go do some lines, right?
Yeah.
So we live in San Marcos. I got invited to a place in North Park.
Mm-hmm.
So check-in is at 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you probably got to get there like at 6:30 for parking or whatever.
Is it a packed
Then
house? Is there people everywhere?
I have no idea because
you don't know. You're on the side or something?
Well, no, it's in North Park, so the parking alone.
Oh, yeah.
you know,
You're not
just
even
trying
close
to
to
find
the place,
parking,
yeah.
right? And so then you do put your name down, and these are reserved spots where they're like, "Hey, if you come, you got 5 minutes." But if I got to be there at 7, okay, let's say I leave here 5:30, get there at 6:30. 7:30, I might get on by 7:30.
Yeah,
because comedy
luck of the
shows
draw.
they don't ever start on time, even if you're scheduled to be on. So 7:30, do 5 to 10 minutes, and then go home. So let's say
Would you
home.
get on that quick at 7:30?
Well,
Like, what's the latest you would potentially be?
it could be 9,
Yeah.
9:30,
Chilling.
and that's just 7:30. Guessing if that's a place where they invited me to do 5 minutes, and I tell them like, "Hey, I got to be on at this time."
You had to be invited to do that show when you're down there?
Well, one of the ladies that I did the show with, she actually was hosting. So she invites
sick.
me to come do 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because pretty much, and that's the other thing is the open mics, it's not, you can put your name on the list, but unless they know you, the chances of you actually getting
Yeah.
up is slim to none.
It's a thing, yeah.
Yeah, because whoever is hosting the show, they don't want somebody to go up there and just bomb. So
yeah. They don't want it to be a bad show.
yeah, so unless you know somebody, which I didn't know that until after I did the
Yeah, they're like, the
class.
reason you're invited is because you're good, dude.
right. And so, but I'm like, good thing I wasn't going to these places where I would have never gotten up anyway. You know, so it's just like I don't have 3 hours to go
Yeah.
do 5 minutes. Plus, like North Park is not the crowd that I would
Yeah, it's
get.
not your crowd.
It's not my
Yeah,
crowd.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
I'm a brother. I was born and raised in San Diego, so I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
yeah. And so I was like, it doesn't make sense for me to invest the time to maybe get some laughs.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
where
yeah.
I'm at with it now is like my company. I've been doing insurance since 2014.
Yeah.
3 different occasions they've invited me to do stand up comedy.
Yeah. Recently, you just did one, right? In
Yeah.
Vegas, I heard.
Yeah, I performed
What's up
at
with Vegas?
at the Palms.
Yeah,
this
at
is
the
the
Palms.
This is the second year in a row I performed at the Palms for about 250 people.
Where do you perform in the Palms? It's a tall building, right?
No, they have this new club called Chaos. I mean,
Sick.
just super dope venue, and the exposure and the experience to be in front of that many people.
Yeah.
This last time I had a bunch of material that I thought about doing, but I actually freestyled based on the events that happened the 3 days that we were there for.
Oh, nice.
And I got some nice reviews. A couple of my close friends that I told later, they're like, "Man, you killed it. You kind of had this like Chris Rock feel going because you got some political things
Bro,
going
someone
on right
tells you
now."
you sound like Chris Rock.
Oh, it's huge.
You're like,
yeah,
"Oh, yeah, I'm
like
just doing my
huge
thing."
compliment. And I'm like, yeah, I was freestyling. They're like, bro, if you were freestyling, like,
What's next?
yeah. And so getting that kind of feedback, I keep saying feedback.
I'm all good with it, dude. Yeah. Taglines all day.
Yeah, and it's when you reached out to me, you definitely lit a fire because I'm like, yeah, thank you for inviting me to the show, but also it like put it in perspective that these things that I kind of take for granted that are skill sets that God has
Yeah.
blessed me with.
Yes.
And why am I not using
Seriously.
it? And it's like,
You might be good at helping people too, and that
Right.
creates a job that you have or whatever.
yeah,
God.
and it's like,
You could change the world with what you say.
no,
And
absolutely.
you could change you, which changes your family, which
Man.
changes the world.
Right.
you
I'm
know?
like, what could I change in my family's if I had a Netflix special, oh, I could help a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
But what experiences would my family have? Right?
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
And so just since we had to reschedule the podcast, we're just doing this right here.
Yeah.
I already got DC Caldwell Enterprises.
Let's go.
That I filed the paperwork for that.
There you go.
Just waiting for the EIN.
Your $800 a year to have your business.
And
Let's
then
go.
I actually got one of the shirts on for DC Fishing.
Oh, what? That's the DC Fish? I didn't even look, dude. Let's go.
The DC Fishing, you know, me and my son.
Oh, and it's nice
DC3.
material. Come on, dude. You know how to pick them.
Yeah.
You design that?
Yeah, Chat GPT. And then me and my buddy, he does print work. He actually did a little.
He's got his own little shop?
changes. He has a shop. And
Nice.
So
That's the
basically,
move, dude.
I started with Chat GPT, got the basics, just, me and my son fishing.
Yeah.
And then
Logo up. It's dope.
Yeah, man. So we're going to just go for it because deep connection fishing is what I'm going to call it.
Perfect.
And the reason being is it's a play on words because
Double entendre.
yeah, it's like it's my initials, but also fishing has been something that has kept me connected to family members.
Yeah.
All the people that I'm close with, that I keep in contact with,
Yeah.
I more than likely met them on a boat.
No shit.
And so fishing has been something that's
brought
been a
you
part of my
deeper
life.
meaning.
Most definitely. And so
Is it the solitude? Is it the time that's there, or what? Like, what does it for you?
well, for one, it's challenging.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of preparation for
All right.
fishing, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the favorite sermons that my grandfather preached, I heard him preach it several times, but he talked about a fisherman. And he says, a fisherman doesn't just get up that morning and fish, right?
Yeah.
Days before,
Yeah.
he's
Preparing.
by checking his nets, making sure his hooks are sharp, making sure all his lines are connected correctly,
Yeah.
making sure the boat is,
Ready to roll.
seaworthy or whatever
Yeah.
the case. And it's like that kind of goes along with everything that you do,
Yeah.
It's
It's preparation in anything.
Yeah, and just the...
Is that why when I walk up to a pier or something and throw something out real quick and don't have just pull something out of the garage, I never catch anything?
Hey,
Is that why there's no preparation involved? I can't wait to go with you. I'm
Yeah.
going to be a customer of this, right? Like,
No,
I've
for sure.
Yeah.
And so I think that a lot of it is the preparation, but you asked about the confidence.
Yeah.
But the preparation for fishing builds the confidence, right?
Okay.
So, like, I'm looking at going on a tuna trip. Now, based on me knowing what fish have been caught, what size fish have been caught,
All right.
and with all the information shared on Instagram right now,
Yeah.
now I know that, okay, if I present my lure in this fashion, in this color, the chances of me catching a fish are higher.
All right.
So then when I get to the rail and I get on the boat and I know that there's other people that have captured bluefin tuna in the last couple days, then my confidence level is higher. So I'm
Sure.
like, with my fishing IQ, hey, there's a pretty good chance that I'm going to hook up.
Yeah.
Because of the information that I have.
Yeah.
Right? And so a lot of times the challenge
So
is...
you're building this network?
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're going to be the guy. They're going to... a lot of people are going to ask for free. What's biting where? You're going to get a lot of that, right?
Oh, man, I actually get more calls about fishing
Than you do about insurance?
About insurance. And it's the craziest thing. A guy that I used to... Well, I'm a licensed barber as well.
Nice.
So one of the guys I used to cut hair with, I haven't talked to this guy in years. He calls me, "What's up, DC?" I'm like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" He's like, "Oh, man, hey, how's your son?" This and that. And I'm thinking like, what? I haven't even talked to you since well before I had my son. Like, what do you want?
Word on the street is...
Yeah. He's like, "Hey, man, well, I'm going fishing." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "Yeah, on this day, I'm going fishing." And so I'm like thinking
Any interest you want to go with?
Well, yeah, I'm thinking that he's leading up to inviting me. And no, he wasn't inviting me to go fishing. He just wanted me to tell him something.
What you knew.
Yeah, like, I'm like, first I'm like, is he inviting me or is he just want information? And my girl, she's like, when he thinks of fishing, he thought of you.
Yeah.
So that's why he called you.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. And she's like, he thought when people think about fishing, they think about you because you're probably the best fisherman that he knows. So he just wants you to tell him something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I can take that.
Yeah.
I was butthurt that he wasn't inviting me on the fishing trip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
you're going alone. Yeah. Have a great time.
Yeah. And so, it's just more people are excited about the fishing. It's something that, like my cousin said, man, if you could show me a way to take my 5-year-old son fishing with me not having any experience, I'd pay anything for that.
Yeah.
And so
that experience,
the DC experience.
I love it.
Right? And so,
dude, for people to think of it and then think of you, that is like what everyone goes for in their particular industry. They want to be that. That's why you see people who do whatever job that they want, and online it's just every day what that is, because they want people to think. And if you think of that industry and think of that person, that is like the absolute gold.
Right.
Bro, if you're already doing this and at launch, let's go.
No,
it's
for
very
sure.
exciting. But you wanted to merge them, right? Wasn't there something where you wanted to do comedy on a boat? You had this idea. I don't want to spill all your ideas that you told me.
My mom, she has jokes. She's like, yeah, what happened 2 years ago? You was shooting videos.
It was comedy while fishing, right?
Well, the comedy just happened.
It's just funny, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm just.
But you
funny.
weren't like, here's my minutes on a boat.
No,
the idea was to
the idea came because I was separating all these different things. Like, okay, DC does comedy, DC fishing, and trying to shoot footage on the boat. The hardest part is just how we're talking right now. Oh, I'm a natural, right? As soon as I will turn on the camera, I don't catch fish. I lose fish.
Oh.
I hit the camera, and then don't let me start talking. As soon as I start talking and the camera's on, I'm like, yeah. And so you take the line, a total different voice, everything. But what I learned is it's because now it's showtime.
Yeah,
and so I'm putting on this persona that I think is necessary. So at this point, for me to shoot the fishing show and for the comedy to just naturally be there, because I got a lot of one-liners. Like, when I catch a fish for the longest, there was one trip where I already had a bunch of fish, and somebody gave me some fish. Because after every time I catch a fish, I'm like, I gotta feed Baby D. I gotta feed Baby D. Right? At the time, I didn't have any kids whatsoever. So I'm like, I gotta feed Baby D.
You gotta feed Baby D.
I was Baby D. I'm just a fishmonger, and I'm gonna eat all these fish, right?
Yeah.
And so this family's like getting ready to give me some fish, and the captain that I've known forever, he's like, why are you giving him fish? And they're like, this guy has 10 kids. And he's like, he don't have no kids. And like, really, I'm playing into the stereotype black guy with 10 kids and I got a bunch of baby.
Eat, bro.
Yeah,
that's
man. I'm just here trying to feed my kids. I got to feed Baby D.
Just straight face to these people.
Yeah, and they're giving me they're like giving me their rockfish, you know, and I'm like, hey.
Okay, so this is on the ocean. That's where you fish. You don't fish lakes.
I do fish lakes as well. That's where I got started at in lakes. But when I moved to San Diego,
bro, you sleeping on those boats and going out there and doing that?
Yep.
Ding, ding, ding. Or waking up and you're just out because you're over.
Oh yeah, man.
That's good times.
You get the best sleep on the boat, and when they put it in low gear, that's the alarm, because that means that there's tuna around, or they're stopping the boat because they found some fish. Yeah. And I would sleep like a rock, and then when they put that boat in low gear,
that low vibration.
Oh yeah, I'm up, no problem.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
how often do you do that? Do you go out there?
Well, like right now, tuna season is starting. There's been some triple-digit fish caught. So
what does that mean, triple-digit?
Fish over 100 pounds.
And these things are your size?
Yeah, they're
6 feet tall.
Somewhere like 5 to 6 feet tall.
Just
my
gigantic.
last one. Yeah, my last cow wasn't a cow. It has to be like 200 pounds to be considered a cow.
That's a fun.
Yeah. So, but I got a 115-pound fish.
Damn.
On my last trip.
How long does it take to
put on the boat?
About 10 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you want to get them on the boat. Sometimes it could take longer than that.
Yeah.
That particular one took me 10 minutes.
You get to keep that fish?
Yep. Take it to the processor.
You
can
sell it?
process
'Cause there's a lot of extra meat than to eat. Right?
No, I got 2 deep freezers.
Let's
And
go.
we eat a bunch of poke bowls.
Yeah.
and
I've had people bring
sushi.
me fish, and they're just like,
Yeah.
I got a bunch, man. Here you go. And it's delicious.
Oh, man.
Next level fish.
Yeah, it's and when you catch it and you caught it yourself, it tastes so much better
Sure.
because you remember when he was trying to get away. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know,
Like, the hunt means something more.
yeah, he was trying to get away. It tastes way better. Like you
Yeah.
remember that fight. You know, so it's just there's nothing like it.
That's awesome. So were you, because I don't know, I feel like life has kind of thrown everyone in like this big roller coaster sine wave that we've all got going on right now. Like a year ago, I wasn't thinking this way. I wasn't thinking like, how creative can I become today? Or were you in the same boat like a year ago? You know, like, were you just holding on to these like aspirations and you were just like waiting to do it? Because now you're doing it, man. So like,
it's just
you have
like
good
logic,
ideas.
logic and fear kicked in. Like I got a baby boy.
fear that you won't do it ever?
Not
What's
that I
the
won't
fear?
do it ever. Just like my lady's a nurse. She's busting her hump as a nurse. Like I don't got time to be shooting a fishing show.
Yeah.
Like that's
Oh.
logic kicking in. And so
Yeah.
like even when you invited me to this, it's like no, I need to be shooting a fishing show because I have a family.
Exactly.
Like I need to be doing my comedy because I have a family.
Yeah.
Versus not doing it because I have a family.
I think our families deserve to see us do what makes us passionate about life, man, you know?
Yeah.
Because otherwise they just see the love we give to them.
No, for sure. And
if they don't find something for themselves, how will they be able to portray that to them? You know?
No, for sure. It makes us happier people, And so like I'm very obviously I grew up in church.
Yeah.
Straight away from church, but in the last year or so, me and my family have been plugged into a church. And I got rebaptized. My fiance and my 2 bonus daughters got baptized with us all at the same day.
There you go.
And then my son got dedicated the week after.
Nice.
And so every day when I pick up my son, he says, "Daddy, go fish.
Yeah.
Daddy, go fish." And I just took it as he's a 2-year-old and he doesn't know how to put a full sentence together yet. But no, he's telling me to go fish. Yeah, he does want to go, but the way I see it now is that was God's way of telling me to go fish. It's like
do you.
Yeah, it's
like we need you to do you because
Right.
we need you.
And even me
You
finding
all work is not you.
Exactly. And even me finding the church that we go to now,
Yeah.
I posted one of those videos playing the drums. This 11-year-old kid, he comes up to me at boxing every week. "Hey man, did you see my video?" I'm like brushing him off. "Hey man, you see my video?" No, whatever. After like the 5th or 6th time, I'm like, "What's your Instagram?"
Yeah, let me
look
check
at
it out. Fine. Squeaky wheel.
The kid has,
Gnarly good.
oh my God, he's a phenomenal drummer.
Yeah.
All the famous drummers follow him.
Oh, shit.
He was really letting me know that he's that guy.
Yeah.
on the drums.
He's
But I see him playing drums at a church. Cut to, that's how I end up at the church. When we get there, I know him. My lady ended up running into a wife of one of her patients for hospice.
Okay.
They had a moment at a dinner where she's like, my lady took care of her husband in his last times.
all right.
Right? Then my daughters
meaningful person in their life.
See a lady who worked at the Boys and Girls Club that they go to. So they felt comfortable there. And so it's like there was just all these different connections to this church. But here it was a kid he was prophesying to me. God used him to get me to the church and through the drums. Mm-hmm. Right? And here it is. My son is the new angel that God is using, telling me, go fish. Go fish. For 10 minutes every day, he's telling me, Daddy, go fish. Daddy, go fish. And now I'm listening.
Right. Yeah, you got to with the kids. It's a thing. But something I wanted to bring up is that how connected is your spirituality to all your art? Like, do you think about this stuff all the time? Like, I know that when it comes to like music or being that heartbeat of that group, like you're providing that worship, you're like keeping that higher frequency up with the people. When it comes to like comedy or whatever, I mean, are you like bridging spirituality with that? Like, are you going up as a Christian? Because that's what you are, right? Christian?
Yes.
You Christian comic?
No, I haven't like labeled myself as a Christian comic. However, I have made sure that my delivery is clean.
Yeah.
There's no cursing in it.
Yeah.
Because I feel as though that will allow me to be in any room.
Yeah.
And
well, dude, every conversation we have, you'll bring up church at one time, and I'm like, man, that is a religious man, like, you know, and that's a good spiritual leader for his family, because you're speaking it too. You know, it's not just like, oh yeah, I saw you at church. It's like, bro, every time I talk to you, it's something. We had to work around a church schedule to get you in here at night. You know what I mean?
No, for sure. And that's the thing. Like on Sundays, unless it's after 2:00, like we don't even plan anything unless we have to do something. Mm-hmm. But it's just a given that we're going to be at church, you know. And part of that is not because I'm holier than thou. It's just I think it's important for the kids to have that structure. I was raised in the church, and then I strayed away, but obviously I came back.
Yeah.
And what really prompted this is we've been together 4 going on 5 years, and I had already been going to a church before COVID. And then once we, moved together or whatever the case, it's like, I don't want to just start making them go to church, right?
Okay.
But
so you led.
The man is supposed to lead. You just said it, right? So when we finally did go to church, I remember we were getting ready for Bible study, and I just had this generic Bible that I got at a church that I visited 1 or 2 times. Yeah. And my lady pulled out her own Bible. She had a leatherback Bible. She had some things highlighted. Mm. She had previously been already studying the Bible. But here it is. I'm like, I don't want to make them.
Yeah.
But they were waiting. Right? And
damn,
they were waiting for me to lead them there.
Yeah.
And now I look at it like there was a Sunday, church starts at 10:45. We had been out the night before, just didn't wake up until like 9:45. So typically,
too close, can't get ready, we don't have time.
We'll literally
skip church this week.
I literally was making all these excuses. I hadn't said it out loud. She turned over, looked at her phone, and she was like, "You better hurry up and get ready. We got to get to church."
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's
not my fault we stayed up too late last
right.
night.
But it's like, that's the partner that I needed.
Yeah.
And here it is. I was using a chicken exit thinking that she was going to be the one saying, hey, let's just not go today or whatever the case. Yeah. But no, like I started it. Now I have that accountability partner so that, because the devil will use whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And so now it's my daughters they're in the choir.
Nice. So they're all accepting of the church.
Oh yeah,
the whole family.
Man,
there's not someone that's I mean, you're gonna get kids that do that,
right? So, like getting up in the morning, that was like hard. A stretch, right?
Sure.
It used to be like pulling teeth to get them ready for church, but now that they're in the choir, the first week that they're in the choir, it's like 7:30, maybe 7:00. I'm getting ready to go to the gym, and I hear them in their room. So I knock on the door. They open the door. They're fully dressed at 7-something in the morning, when we couldn't even get them to wake up by 8 to get ready for church. But because they're singing in the choir now, they're ready.
I'm excited.
And so it's like now we got Bible study on Wednesdays. We got choir rehearsal on Thursdays. And I'm just like, if you told me a year ago that my whole family would be plugged into a church, like I'd have been like, yeah, right.
You'd have been doubtful.
You know, but there's nothing logical about my life. God has blessed me, and it's been magical.
Yeah.
And so I don't expect anybody to understand because they don't know where God has brought me from.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget because the man that you see in front of you now isn't the same man from 10 years ago.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
And I don't think people need to understand. I don't think it's for them. I think they need to understand themselves and their relationship with God or whoever it is for them, you know, because there's a lot of things now where people are putting like Bibles down and just going to like whatever they think it is, you know, and, but whatever that relationship is, if it's for the greater good and if it's, you know, I feel like we don't go nihilistic into the night. You know, like this is here for a reason, and those feelings that you get, like, dude, when your kids were ready, or like when you saw your wife's leather-bound highlighted Bible,
yeah,
like, bro, those feelings that you get, that thing that stands up on the back of your neck, and that chill you get, like that's real. You know,
no, absolutely,
you can't put that down.
No,
you cannot.
And I tell you, it's like God leaves you breadcrumbs that you're following the right path.
Yeah.
Right? I was running my insurance business today. Went to one of the locations where I have a bunch of clients. I see these people a few times a week. Walked past a lady who's not my client, but we always have good conversations. Walked past her, said, "How you doing, miss?" She said, "I'm okay." I kept going where I was going. I had to, talk to a couple of people, but the Spirit told me, like, you need to go back.
Yeah, that's not okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I went back and I said, I know you said that you were okay, but
I don't buy it.
Yeah, I don't feel like you're okay.
Yeah, what's up?
And she said, "No, Derrick, I am just okay. My grandma's not gonna make it longer than." The next week or so. And so I'm just okay.
Yeah.
I'm not good. I said, look, I ain't trying to get all in your business, but God told me to come back and talk to you. And she said, Derrick, thank you for sharing, and thank you for stopping back. And I cut out a part. She's like, "What's going on with you?" But I can see tears are welling up in her eyes.
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, since we spoke last, and me and her talked about fishing, she told me a place that I can go fishing with my kids in Oceanside." I said, "We actually went to that restaurant. We didn't do any fishing, but we caught some bomb calamari."
There you go.
And I said, "And since we talked last, I actually started a fishing company." And I showed her the pictures of the shirt and whatever the case. And she was like, "That's awesome. Let me know. Give me a shirt in 2X. I'll support your business. Like, that's going to be awesome."
Yeah.
And then I said, "Yeah, every day my son tells me, 'Daddy, go fish.'" And she looked at me and she said, "Oh my God, thank you for stopping and talking to me." She said, "Because my grandmother, such and such, we used to do this together." And she talked to me for about 20 minutes about just sharing her experiences with her grandmother.
Yeah.
But me stopping and mentioning God is using my son as an angel to tell me, gave her the motive to share her moments with her grandmother.
Yeah, and to think positive about grandma, not what's going on with her right now.
Yeah.
Not the,
and she's
potential
like,
tragedy that's approaching.
Right. And she's like, "You just made me realize that grandma was letting me know that she's ready, because she's making me remember all the things that we've already done." And I'm just like, did I have other things to do? Did I have 20 minutes? Nobody has an extra 20 minutes.
Yeah. You're always got something to do.
Yeah, but
you listen to that little voice.
Yeah.
That wasn't you.
And
I think you have to understand that.
sharing about her grandmother that I don't know, but also sharing her faith.
Yeah.
Just let me know that, again, I was exactly where he wants me to be. And so in the last, 2 weeks, I've really been on waking up and talking to God first before I even touch my phone.
Yeah.
Telling him thank you for waking me up and thank you for leading my steps yesterday. And today, I want you to do the same.
Yeah.
Take me, lead me to where you see fit. And so a couple weeks ago, there was a opportunity that I thought aligned with my skill set. I knew a supervisor. I knew someone even higher than the supervisor. They had me change the interview time to where this person could be on the panel for me to be interviewed. And the guy just didn't show up, even though he had me reschedule my in-person interview for
To make it
position.
easier for you
Yeah,
potentially to move forward.
yeah. He had me reschedule and he didn't show up. And so the other supervisor, when I saw him at the gym, was like, "Oh man, how'd it go?" I'm like, "It didn't go." He said, "What do you mean? Didn't so-and-so change?" And I said, "Yeah."
Can we make this happen for you?
Right.
Yeah.
I said, "But no, they didn't show up." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "It doesn't matter. You know who did show up?
Yeah.
GLD."
Bro.
And I said, and he made it so crystal clear without a doubt.
Yeah. That is
wasn't-
not what you were supposed to be doing, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said, "I'm okay with it." He's like,
Yeah.
"Man, just keep working hard and this and that."
Yeah. You're like,
No.
no, it was loud and clear that wasn't supposed to be my path.
It's
dude.
over.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like, that's over.
Yeah.
You right? Now, when it goes to the comedy, fishing, and doing the fishing class and these different things,
Yeah.
doors just keep opening up.
Yeah.
Like, I got wholesalers like, "Hey, let me know when you got everything
Yeah.
set up because I can help you white label this." I have access to wholesalers. Like, I got guys asking me, "Do I want to make my own reels? Do you want your own poles?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
Well, dude,
I
your
just think
family's
that,
been giving you nuggets for this.
Oh,
God's
yeah.
been telling you to do this, and then he just showed you real flat out. You ain't doing something else. Is what you need to do.
absolutely.
Powerful as shit. Excuse my language, God. Goodness. Like,
No, for sure.
yeah, that's crazy. So it's something that you brought up in terms of like the gym, and do you feel like those things? Because I mean, every time I go to the gym, which is far and few between, you're there. Does that help you in life, like having that sort of like routine?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know,
I used to
does-
be I used to be over 300 pounds.
You're a big boy. Until when? When did this happen?
until I
I've
was
never
like-
known you as that. You've
Yeah,
always
until I was like 30. I think I was 31. Still active drinker.
been- yeah.
On my 31st birthday, a friend of mine gifted me a longboard, and I rode the skateboard in PB all day while we were drinking. And
Yeah.
then when we got to Mission Valley, I hopped out of my buddy's car to get some chasers. Told everybody meet me at the house.
Yeah.
And at 300 something pounds, I was skating home, hit a divot in the
Oh,
grass,
no.
and just rolled my ankle like
Bad,
because I
bad?
was so heavy. I rolled my ankle so bad. Like, all my drunk friends probably took 45 minutes before they realized that I didn't get there, and they come back looking for me, and I'm using my skateboard as a crutch. Stuck on the couch, lived on the 3rd floor, and I could only use the crutches for long enough to get to the elevator. I was just too heavy. It was too much stress. So I look up my BMI, says I'm morbidly obese, and it took me about 9 months, but I lost over 100 pounds.
Damn. Just going hard.
Because-
You're a
well,
go-getter. That's just,
Yeah,
bro.
it's like-
That's
And then, but also it was, educating myself on food. I
Yeah,
was probably
it's a big
eating
thing.
4,500 calories a day.
Yeah.
Most of it was alcohol.
Yeah.
Eating taco shop. Living
Yeah,
the
you get
bachelor
drunk, you get
life.
munch- yeah, especially
Yeah.
down there. There's a lot of good taco shops
Yeah.
everywhere.
And what? You order a quesadilla, and then at the very last second they say, "Anything else?" Some rolled
Some rolled
tacos.
tacos, dog. Yeah.
Oh, and a horchata.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The horchata.
Yeah, we're
large.
We're already
No ice.
5,000 calories in.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna wake up and
Yeah.
it's breakfast burritos, and
Yeah.
then you got to get another
At Taco
drink.
Surf. And yeah.
Right. So pretty much from there, dropping 100 pounds or so. When I was 39, I did a personal development course, and it was a 90-day course. And the first weekend, like pretty much, I had to set 4 goals. And at the time, I was like probably 2/3 through 75 hard.
Yeah.
So
I've done that.
Yeah, so I was in pretty good shape at that point. But I said I'll do a bodybuilding competition, and I had to do it within that 90-day period. So my first physique bodybuilding competition, I did within that 90-day period, and I got 4th with only having less than 90 days to actually train for the bodybuilding.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And then now it's just something that I do on a daily basis just to get my day started. And like lately, like I was telling you before we got started, I've been on this strongman kick.
Yeah, bro, I see it. I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, and so it's like now as summertime's coming, it's like, okay, let's do a cut. So I'll probably actually get with my coach who helped me for the bodybuilding, my posing coach, and then get a new meal plan just because if I have information, I'll stick to it. And so I've been trying to stick to what worked for me, now 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But I was 39. Now I'm 43. So I can't expect the formula that worked for me at 39 to work for me now. And I just came to that realization, like, somebody's like, man, it's just so hard, this and that. And I was like, you know what? I need a reset. Because if I get new information, then my actions will be based on the new information.
Yeah.
Now, if they come back and say, actually, the same meal plan that you used before works, then I'll be dialed in on that.
Yeah.
Right? However, like, I just need the new information to then guide me, and then you give me 45 days, like, I'll be cut.
There's not a lot of people like you, dude. And just so you know, my money's on you. So whatever you're doing, bro, I'm just excited to see what it is. I know we've talked about doing music, and I've heard you play the drums, and like, dude, I can't wait till we can jam together. Like that's gonna be a thing. I can't wait to see like a set of yours. I can't wait to see your business that's gonna flourish. I already see what you do to make money for your family do well. Like I see that you're doing good at that. I see that you're getting after it, and I'm proud of you, and you're killing it. And I'm very excited to see. Dude, in a year from now, I can't wait to look back at this conversation and be like, look at what you did, dude. Like, look at, like, but I already know that you're so confident, and you already know that that's going to come to fruition. So it's just going to be exciting to see blossom, dude.
No, for sure. And just being here in the studio, seeing the feedback on the wall that I know in a year from now, I'm going to be giving you the same props because I know, like, this is just the beginning. And it's like when I walked up the stairs and saw it, how you have everything set up already.
Yeah.
Super legit. Like,
let's go.
You know what I mean? I'm like, this is giving me chills. So I'm like, man, now that I've been on feedback and I'm sharing my story, we're at the point of no return.
Yeah.
Because now
it's out, dude.
Yeah. And then like,
now we're just going to be like,
you started
Derrick,
this.
Where's this thing at?
Right.
Yeah.
And like, you started this. So there's no, I shut the studio down because, I got a big mouth. I told everybody that I'm about to do this podcast. So I'm like, this is the first podcast that I've been on. However, I'm proud to say that, I am one of the first people that you interviewed.
Yeah.
Because you shared this maybe a year ago. I was getting my car worked on at your shop.
Yeah.
And a lady came in who said, she did something with guitars. She made some custom piece for guitars. And then you said, well, yeah, I'm going to do a podcast. And from that day, I probably have called you, hey, man, when's the studio going to be ready? When's the studio going to be ready? And then after like 6 months, I didn't ask you about it anymore. So then you turned the tables.
Well, I had to show you. I had to send you a link and be like, all right, so there is a podcast. It's real, and I need you on it, please.
Right. And then it was like oh shoot, this dude is doing it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so then it's like I'm super excited about it. Really got a kick in the butt when you're like, yeah, it's for talented people that are just working jobs.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Bring it out.
yeah.
dude.
But
Yeah.
I'm like, now, hey, when I get any younger, I have to do this
Yeah.
because I owe it to my family.
Yes.
To give them the opportunity that, like, Chris Rock, his kids, the opportunity that they have.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle's kids.
Yeah.
All these people that I look up to.
Yeah.
It's like Dave Chappelle, he had a joke that his son was like, man, this is man, these chicken wings are good. And he was like, that's duck. He was like, my kids are eating fried duck.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Opportunity.
I want to be able to say my kids eating salt and pepper duck
Yeah.
instead of just chicken.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they don't like it, but I want them to try it.
Yeah.
And so it's just like,
Doors everywhere. You want to give them keys, man.
yeah,
You know?
no. And my girl hating on me, telling me I wasn't funny. I'm just gonna keep
Motivating.
going. Yeah, motivating.
Yeah.
It's like she's we got together. I just had expectations because she's Korean, Black, and Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
So I just had all these different expectations. Like, I thought I was gonna come home and she was gonna be making empanadas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought I was gonna get like manicures and pedicures.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I did get the black part. You ain't even funny. Like, I got that
Yeah,
part.
yeah.
And my son,
That real
he got some of the
shoot to
Korean.
you.
When he was a baby, he would cry and he'd be like, wah, wah. And so she gets mad at me all the time because he literally has chopsticks and he could pick up anything with a chopstick.
Really? I
And
still
I'm like,
can't.
yeah, that's your Korean side.
Yeah. I still can't. I look silly doing it.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find you? People look at
Instagram,
What's
that
the
guy,
handle?
that guy DC,
That guy DC.
that guy DC, and even my name on Instagram.
How do you spell Derrick?
Derrick, DERRICK,
Derrick Caldwell. CALD.
WELL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram, that guy DC. And the reason I got the name that guy DC
Yeah.
is a friend of mine. She would say, "Oh, this guy." Every time I would do something cool, and I was like, "That's gonna be my name."
Oh, this guy.
Because
Because you switch it again. No, you're not funny. Yes, I am. This
Yeah.
guy. All right, this guy.
yeah,
DC. Bro, it's-
I'm gonna be that guy.
That's the guy. Yeah,
I'm that.
I
guy.
do feel like you are the guy, which is why I wanted to spell out your name, because I do feel like within the next year you're going to have a DerrickCaldwell.com or whatever it needs to be, because there's going to be. I feel like it's just people are going to attach onto this, man. You're just one of those
let's
people.
go.
It's very excited. Well, thank you very much for coming on, brother. I really appreciate it. I'm very excited to see what you do with your life.
Man, thank you for having me on, and I already know feedback is gonna blow up, and I'm just glad that I could be here to experience this and experience you doing your thing, because this is just the beginning for both of us.
Agreed. Thank you, brother. Ladies and gentlemen, Derrick Caldwell. That guy, DC.